Hey everyone, Severus here, and today I'm going to try out the Finecolour markers. So I was contacted by Banggood, which is some sort of a warehouse which sells basically everything. It looks a bit like the websites such as Wish and AliExpress. So they asked me if I wanted to try some of their stationery supplies, and I looked through their website and immediately my eyes were caught by these markers, which look so much like the real Copic markers. But then like a third of the price. It's insane. And you can find a link in the description box if you want to check them out. I got 72 Finecolour markers for €60, while for the same amount of Copic markers I would have paid between the 360 and 400 euros. But are the Finecolour markers any good? Well, let's try them out. The 72 markers come in 2 boxes and it looks like a good set with a lot of colors. I swapped every color to see what they look like, and I have to say the colors are super bright and highly pigmented. They also resemble the color of the cap very well, which is often wrong with cheaper brands. Copics are mostly very accurate to the color of the cap, but these markers are doing good as well. So these markers have a hard tip instead of the Copics I have, which have more like a brush-like tip. However, there are Copics which do have a hard tip, but I do not have them. So we will have to do with my Copic sketch markers versus the Finecolour markers. So now I will show you how they will blend together. I will compare them to the real Copic markers. And as you can see, the Copics are more softer and blend well together, while the Finecolour markers do not blend that well. But maybe with the colorless blender, Wish is also included with this set. Well, that's a bit disappointing, but I have to say that the colorless blender from Copic isn't my fave either. But if you want to blend your colors well, these markers do not blend that much, but it might depend on the paper as well. So always try out your markers on different kinds of paper to know for sure. So for the next test, I wanted to color in a drawing with 4 Copic sketch markers and 4 Finecolour markers. I chose the colors as close as possible to each other, but it's not 100% accurate, but we can still compare how they work. And while coloring with these markers, I was pleasantly surprised about the quality. The colors are super bright and the ink is very pigmented, and I still can't believe how affordable these markers are. A set of 72 markers. I have paid at least double the amount on my Copics. I think these markers are a super good deal for anyone who wants to start out with markers and wants to have a good and complete set. Because when I started with using markers, I struggled with the fact that I had too little of them. It took years to have a good foundation for the coloring, because I didn't buy so many at once, since they're so expensive. So with a set of 72 markers, you're basically done and you have a good set with a good variety of colors. So back to the drawing, I noticed that both the Copic markers and the Finecolour markers left a striped texture on the paper, but when you add a second or third layer with the Copic markers, that mostly will fade. As said before, the Finecolour markers do not blend that well, but I still feel like you can layer them up pretty well. I also noticed a bit of smudging with the line art, but not a lot though. I expected them to smudge the line art way more, but only the orange color seems to smudge a bit, and the other colors are totally fine. So I'm really pleased. And for now I will continue this drawing and I will see you back at the end result. So let's see the result of the two drawings. Well, I do not really see a big difference. The Copic colors are a bit softer, while the Finecolour markers have a bigger contrast. Other than that, I don't see much difference. I really wish I knew these markers back in the days because they're really affordable. No, but seriously, Copics are of course very good and they will last a long time, but they are really expensive, so if you have the money, I would suggest to invest in Copics, especially if you will be using them for your job. But if you just like to draw for a hobby or want to try out if markers are something for you, I definitely recommend these markers. They're so cheap and the quality is great for the price. So overall, I am super pleased with these markers and I'm definitely going to be using them more often because they're super nice. So that's it for this video and I hope to see you soon everyone. Bye bye!